All right, so we have not been on. So if you missed this, we're going to do a quick recap and rundown of what the Detroit Lions 53-man roster is looking like, transactions that they made, the practice squad. All the seats are full. There's no room for anybody else right now. All 53 on the active roster and all 16 on the practice squad is full. So do not expect any moves to be made unless you hear that somebody is being released. If you hear somebody being released, of course, you can sign a player and then release a player. But if you hear about a release, then something is coming soon. Whether it's a practice squad elevation to the active roster or somebody from outside the team is coming in. So if you're holding out hope for Zadarius Smith, you might as well let it go. Cash Doll is trying as hard as she can, but I don't know if that is going to be enough. So let's do some catch up here. Here is what the Detroit Lions decided to do since the last time we've been on, and you might already know this stuff already. So they went into they started off after cut down. They have 53 men, and then they wind up picking up edge Tyrus Wheat from Dallas, defensive tackle Tyler Lacey from Jacksonville. Don't forget, we also traded Tim Patrick to Jacksonville. We then signed another player from Jacksonville, safety Daniel Thomas, and we claim safety Thomas Harper. Now, these guys are on the 53-man roster. When we traded Tim Patrick, we claimed Thomas, and then we wind up picking these guys up from waivers, took us from traded Tim Patrick, took us from 50 to 49. Then we went 49, 50, or 50, 51, 52, 53. So now we are all set. Again, you would have to see some moves. Here are the practice squad signings. I like this list. There's some people on here that I'm glad are on here. Jacob Sailors, he should have been RB4 in my opinion. Zach Horton is a bit of a surprise. Jackson Meeks should have made the team, especially knowing that we could probably trade Tim Patrick, but it is what it is. Tom Old Reliable Kennedy, Rodney Bell, glad to see him as well. Dan Skipper wind up not even have to leave town. He is on the practice squad. Tristan Colon, Mason Miller, Michael Neese, Edge, Isaac Ukwu, Andre Carter. A lot of you guys are looking at this guy like he could have potential and upside, and he can. I don't know how much of a difference he's going to make. We will see these players at some point during the season. It happens all the time. Defensive tackle Miles Adams, defensive tackle Keith Cooper, Anthony Pittman, and Eric Hallett and Lauren Strickland. So a lot of players that we thought would come back and would be here. Now, this is what happened. We traded Tim Patrick. Hendon Hooker was signed to the practice squad of not the Michigan Panthers. That's probably where it should have went, but the Carolina Panthers. And he had a lot of stuff to say. Just have some fun over there, Hendon. Broderick Martin is signed with the Kansas City Chiefs. So I'm still trying to get the Broderick jokes out of the system. These are the players that did not get claimed by other teams or picked up by or come back to the Detroit Lions. I think I'm most disappointed with Anthony Land. He did really well. Mitchell Agude played well as well. Ahmed Hassanin, I made a video about him on Lion Syndicate. You can check that out. Breaks down how that is going to work with him. And here is the 53-man roster. We've got two quarterbacks right now, Jared Goff and Kyle Allen. The Detroit Lions did talk about another one. You heard Dan Campbell talk about that right now. Jake Fromm could very much come back. At this point, I don't know if there's too many other quarterbacks out there that I would want. Running backs, Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery, Craig Reynolds, and Sione Vaki. Let me know how many of you guys took Jahmyr Gibbs with your first-round pick in fantasy football. I did in my leagues that I was in. Well, I missed one, but I did take him in one of my leagues, my first-round selection. Wide receivers, we going with Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jamison Williams, Khalif Raymond, Isaac Tesla, and Dominic Lovett. And Tim Patrick is now traded to the Jacksonville Jaguars. We got a tight end. We got a 6th-round pick for that. Tight end, Sam Laporta, Brock Wright, Shane Zylstra, no surprise there. Offensive tackle, you got Penei Sewell, Taylor Decker, Giovanni Manu, and Jamarco Jones. This was a guy that some people didn't have making the team, but I had him making the team. Interior offensive line, we got 5. We got Glasgow, Mahogany, Ratledge, Awasika, and Kingsley. Still can't get that last name. Miles Frazier is on the PUP list. He actually put out a photo today. He has to, I think, wait 4 weeks before he can start practicing or something like that. So that would be the same probably with Josh Pascal, who is still on that list as well. Just to cut to me real quick, I don't know if the Lions, like everybody who's on injured reserve is done. It doesn't look like they're going to put anybody on designated to return IR. So that should be very, I don't know if we'll burn any of those spots. When our defensive end, we started the 53-man roster with 3. We added Tyrus Wheat off waivers. So we've got Aiden Hutchinson, Marcus Davenport, Al-Qadim Muhammad, and of course, the waiver claim. Reserve NFI, there it is, Josh Pascal. Defensive tackles, we've got 7. DJ Reader, Tyleek Williams, Roy Lopez, Pat O'Connor, Mekhi Wingo, Chris Smith, and the claimed Tyler Lacey with Aleem McNeil going to be out for a while. Linebackers, we got 6. Anzalone, Campbell, Barnes, Grant Stewart, Trevor Nowalski, and Zach Cunningham, Malcolm Rodriguez on the PUP. Expect him half the season. Quarterbacks, we've got Terrion Arnold, Amik Robertson, Khalil Dorsey, DJ Reed, and Avonte Maddox. Safeties, we started the cut down with 3. Brian Branch, Kirby Joseph, and Rock Ya-Sin. And then we claimed 1 and we signed 1 as well. And then there's our special teams of Jack Fox, Jake Bates, and Hogan Hatton. So there is your practice squad, waiver claims, and 53-man roster. Again, like I started off by saying, the roster, both of them are now maxed out. So if the Lions were to make any moves, so if they release somebody, then you know a move is coming, or they could also make the move, and then before it becomes official, they could release the player from whatever squad they're putting them on. So let me know what you think. The team is better than last year because we're healthy, but is it a Super Bowl caliber team? We'll find out in about 3 or 4 months, man. So let me know your thoughts down in the comments below.